welcome to the CHGO Bears Podcast. What the hell day is it? I don't know. It's Thursday. We are here. We are ready to go. Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, Greg Braggs Jr. Collectively, we are at 100%. Individually, I don't know about that.
I am gonna die.
Greg is giving us all bad European diseases right now.
All right, listen. We're back in studio. It feels great to be here. We don't need any real and or fake and or nauseating sickness to my left. I begged you to not do a show in London. I'm begging you not to do this one. You're doing both of them. We're all gonna get sick from you. But that's okay because I did get sick in London, but I got over it, and I'm immune to whatever you have.
I almost told them I wasn't going to do the show today and didn't come in, but I knew that Mark was going to say that I was faking it. So I came in because I refused to let this jamoke run around the studio telling everyone that I'm fine and I'm golfing and I'm not actually 100%.
First of all, don't steal the use of the word jamoke. That's my word. Second of all, who cares what I would say? Third of all, that was disgusting.
I care what you say.
Well, look, there's a lot of things we might accuse you of, but getting out of work is not one of them. 100%. No, we are going to have a good show today. Glad everybody's here. We're going to talk trade possibilities because you guys are asking the questions. We've been getting a lot of questions on this. And we're going to go through some trade possibilities. We're still – trade deadline's a while away still. It's November 5th, so I don't want to rush into this and, go through every possibility. But we are going to answer some of your questions on the trade deadline. There's been some good questions that have been brought up. And as I'm already seeing in the comments, Gary Ross is just going to tell us that none of these things are happening. So why? You know what? Let's not even do a show today.
Listen,
we will gladly take the day off after coming back from London.
No, Gary's not going to shout this show down. You will not do that, Gary Ross.
Gary's going to help me through each player, and I expect you to be texting me as this segment goes along, Gary, and I appreciate you.
You can text both of you guys. Don't text me. All right. Is there anything I need to plug off the top of this show? There just seems to always be a long list.
Yes.
I don't have anything.
Yes, right, Adam. There is.
Yeah? I don't know.
Well, I believe what is today, Adam?
October 17th? It's Thursday?
Yeah, what do we do on Thursdays, Adam?
Oh. It is a sunny side summer Thursday. You tell me. You're the one who hosts this show on Thursdays.
That's
I'm
true.
just here so I don't get fined.
Well, you're taking the day off tomorrow, by the way, and it's going to be an outstanding show led by yours truly. That's going to just take everything to the levels that really, honestly, has never been seen before on Friday as of recent note. Because I'm very excited for tomorrow's show. But I'm staying in the present, and we are coming at you live on this Sunnyside Thursday from the beautiful CHGO Bears Studios. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter that promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day only for 21 and older or Illinois medical card holders. We all love our friends at Sunnyside. Take us up on that code. You'll be living a better life by the moment.
Greg, can you
that was nice. Good job, Carm. Keeping us on track.
But it was all every muscle in my body hurts from just getting run over by a bus there. That was amazing.
I bust you?
Yeah. Guy who said all the ads were in the rundown. Guy who hosts every Thursday show for the last 2 months.
No. Carm was on track here. You got to give him a little credit.
He didn't even have it in front of him.
You bus toss him. He gets
You're
one
doing
on
the bus
you.
tossing.
Everyone is privy to what's in the podcast ad rundown. You could have seen it yourself.
Sorry. All right. You're right. I won't trust Carm anymore when he tells me the ads are in there. That's my bad. You're right. That's a me problem. Yeah. That's a me problem.
Okay. Well, the ads are in there, but except for the
one that starts the show.
Presenting it.
Yeah, okay.
That was a bad job by me.
Actually got me back on track, too. I didn't have the right lower.
Yeah, no. Yeah. We both trusted Carm. That was on us. You're right. You're right, Braggs. You're right. That was on me.
Yep.
That was
on
my
everybody.
problem. My problem. I know better. I know better.
Okay.
I apologize.
I didn't even look at Notion today.
Honestly,
point is,
if you guys would just like to take the rest of our ads off and just let me do them, I would love to do that service for everybody. I love our sponsors, and I think I would like to show them my love on a daily basis. All right, Hoge, let's get it moving here. Let's get this.
If anything, this show is now back on track.
Thank you.
With the insanity.
That's correct. But Adam, if you would like to just kick
I want to hear from you. Okay, so here's how we're going to do this. We're going to give we've each been tasked with coming up with a trade that we would actually go for. This is not a trade that we're saying the Bears will do. We're saying it's a trade that we would endorse, as we endorse our trade candidates.
All right, first of all, I want to shout out before I give mine. I want to shout out Steve Schnagel with this. Can we get a 6th-round pick for Nate Davis? Because we are going to touch on that later, Schnagel. So we are on the same page as you, and I like that. And that is a sweet avatar, and I'm assuming that's the family there. And if I could get invited to the Schnagel elite name Thanksgiving, I could use that in my life. So thank you. All right, now, yes, my trade, Hoger, Braggs, Steven, you, the CHGO Bears Podcast listener, and I love you, and I've got a lot of love at the end of the show that I want to give out. But look, there's a guy down in Jacksonville, the Jaguars, we all saw them. They stink. They should be dumping and getting assets. The Bears, yes, have gotten to the quarterback better, but that's funny, Grimblies. Can we trade Carm? I know that's what Hoge's laughing at, that sloth to my right who's just don't pay attention to the comments. Somebody throws their trade card and just starts giggling like he's in 3rd grade. All right, back to you.
No, back to you.
Not you, Grimblies. Back to me. Can I get myself some Trayvon Walker, the former 1st-round pick who had 10 sacks last year and has 5 this year? Steven's got the tackles for losses in there, 5, and the forced fumble. I'll take that too. Listen, the Lions are supposedly interested in Trayvon Walker. Maybe they're even more interested now considering Aiden Hutchinson's situation. But the rumor on the street, 4th-round pick. Sign me up. I'll take a 23-year-old who's got 10 sacks on his resume, who's got 5 this year, and yeah, you're getting him for a 4th-round pick because he's not consistent. But the Chicago Bears, ladies and gentlemen, Hoge, Braggs, I think they're getting better. I think it's getting easier to get to the quarterback on the Bears. I think Montez Sweat's making things sweeter for people. I think that Jervon Dexter Sr. is doing something for everybody on that defensive line. I think that Andrew Billings is enjoying his spot here on the Chicago Bears and he's going to get paid. I think that I left my phone off ringer. I think Trayvon Walker can come here and be more productive. And he's young and there's talent to tap into and he's not that expensive. You are going to have to pay him, which is not ideal if he does take off. So the Bears are going to, at some point, the cap's going to get to be an issue. But that is a name on here, an age. I'd like to live in some level of reality that we are still, a developing, growing roster. So partly because I don't love a lot of the guys that are on the list, this name was the most intriguing to me.
Well, it's intriguing because he's a great player and he's a young player, but that is why it's probably one of the more realistic names of the players we're going to go through. Don't give me that look. It's the truth. So as a guy that appreciates living in reality, the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'm talking about you.
Oh,
I'm not saying me.
Thank you.
I'm not saying me. I'm saying you. And you should acknowledge the fact that Jacksonville is not going to give up Trayvon Walker.
Why not? They're a terrible organization. They do stupid things.
I mean, if you're banking on that, sure. But outside of that,
deal with the dummies. Don't trade with Pittsburgh.
I mean, if we're talking for a 4th-round pick, I would consider that.
Right, but what is Jacksonville truly going to want? We're saying
he's not getting you, dude. They got Montez Sweat for a 2nd-round pick. He ain't that. So is it? You want to say he's a 3rd? I don't think so.
Well, that number came from ESPN's reporting on what the market could actually be. So it came from. I mean, no one really knows what the market is, but there are educated guesses from looking at contracts, similar trades. sources around the league and what the chatter is. So it's not like that's just a number being thrown out of nowhere.
I did research.
Okay, and to the chat's point, what 4th-round pick are you using to get him? Because the Bears currently don't have a 4th-round pick.
I'll use next year's 4th-round pick.
Okay, so we're clear. Unless
what
Justin
ESPN
Fields,
actually said was a 5th and a 6th. If anything, Carm's
I'm just throwing a
upgrading.
4th.
Carm's just making the point that he's trying to say, like realistically,
he ain't expensive, dude. You're not giving up a ton. Whatever. Excellent point on the 4th-round pick. Okay, good point. Maybe it's 2/5. Whatever it is, it's not some premium. You're not giving up something that is going to really have any real impact on your team.
They still have that conditional pick coming from the Steelers too, and obviously we don't know if Justin's going to be starting.
I'm giving up the Justin.
That could be up to a 4th-round pick. Right now it's guaranteed to be a 6th.
We'll trade you that option. If it goes to a 4th, great. Otherwise, you got a 6th. How about you do that? There you go, Jacksonville.
Okay. All right, Greg, your turn.
Well, I mean, I know we haven't shown the entire list. That Steven, did you show the entire list?
No.
But to me, the only person that stood out on this whole list, I don't know, I blacked out.
There isn't an entire list.
You don't have it?
8 full screens.
Yeah. Okay. They're all individual graphics.
All right. Well, I thought maybe we have a whole list too. Regardless,
You're
Steven put a
like 9 full screens instead. Okay.
Yeah.
You just made Steven's list.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, of all the names that Steven threw out at us, the only one to me that made sense, that if he was available, and as of right now he's not, but if he was available, the Bears should do everything they can to trade for Maxx Crosby. Again, I understand that the likelihood that he will even be available for a trade is unlikely. But even still, if the Bears traded for Maxx Crosby, the Bears would become immediate Super Bowl contenders. So I don't care what the price tag is to trade for Maxx Crosby. He, to me, would fit with this team perfectly. We all understand his resume and everything he has. Cap hit in 2024 is $30 million. But while you have Caleb Williams on a rookie contract, you make moves like getting Maxx Crosby. That's, in theory, why Ryan Pace once upon a time traded for Khalil Mack. Because when you have a quarterback on a rookie contract, you have an opportunity to spread the wealth across the rest of the team and really put that, in spots you wouldn't be able to do on the day that comes you have to pay Caleb Williams. So, what would it take to get Maxx Crosby, I think, is a bigger discussion. But anybody that was like, I wouldn't take Maxx Crosby, no, you're crazy. Maxx Crosby. And the other reason that you got to remember, too, is with what happened with Aiden Hutchinson, and I know that the Raiders said, Hoge, you pointed out in our pre-show meeting, Mark Davis said he's not available. But if they say he is now available, you don't want the Lions trading for Maxx Crosby. So there's two separate agendas there, and he'd be a perfect fit on this defense. I'd do everything I could to get him here. Now, what would he cost? That's a bigger question.
Multiple first-round picks.
Right. It would essentially be like the Khalil Mack trade all over again, right?
Yes. So, except this time, in many ways, it's the same exact trade. You're taking one of the best pass rushers in the entire league. You're giving up a lot of draft capital, and you're doubling down on you got the quarterback right.
Right.
That's exactly what it's the same trade. Well, and I still make the point, the Khalil Mack thing could have worked out better had the quarterback been the right quarterback. But I still, pound for pound for that trade, I don't know that the longevity of it really lasted, which would be one of the reasons why you think twice about it.
The Khalil Mack trade was a vintage Chicago Bears trade. It was beyond celebrated. 52 jerseys flew off the racks. Everyone was buying him up. He had the most incredible start to his career, wrecking the Green Bay Packers. Everyone thought that they were going to the Super Bowl. They were on their way, greatest trade ever, and then it just ended up in death, in essence, really, and they gave him away. By the way, our list today, and we're going to get to Hoge's acquisition here, I'll just tease it. Hoge's got an interesting angle on all this. The names that we were considering, Wyatt Teller from Cleveland, whose name has been out there, hurt. but going to be back in a little bit here. Supposedly the week of the 27th.
Let's save the list for after the break. We got a break here.
All right.
But we can go through some of these other options here in a second.
Good idea.
But first, we got to tell you about Game Time. I love Game Time. I've been on Game Time a lot in the last 24 hours, to be honest with you. And they have a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out all the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Big game tonight at the United Center. Anybody looking to go might be wanting to check it out. Game Time, because it's the best place to go, especially last minute. The Game Time Picks is a curation that will make it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater. The great thing when you just log on to Game Time, it has all these different features that show up right there. You got your flash deals, your Game Time picks, your all-in pricing. It's going to show you your views from your seats. They have a low price guarantee. And you can use it for anything. It's not just sports. You use it for concerts. You can use it for comedy shows, really anything you might be looking for tickets. Go to Game Time, check it out, take the guesswork out of buying those tickets, download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time.
That noise was not in the read, for the record.
Yeah,
should be though.
And let me just say real quick before we continue on, but I saw somebody in the chat say,
we're in the middle of an ad break.
Oh.
Follow.
What is happening today?
Well, you did the Who.
We are sponsored.
Game Time Who.
Back
to the talking.
Okay, we'll get to you in a second. We're sponsored by the Chicago Sports Network, the new home of the Blackhawks, Bulls, and White Sox games. CHN's broadcasting more than 300 live games per year across the Blackhawks, Bulls, and White Sox, and they'll feature a full lineup of original Chicago-focused sports content. They're also Chicago-based, Chicago-built. They're Chicago to the core. And they're bringing it to every corner of Chicago across their 77 neighborhoods and beyond. At CHSN. Chicago comes first. Visit chsn.com for more info on how to watch the Bulls, Hawks, and White Sox all season long. Now,
just to add to the nonsense, Nick chiming in the chat just wants everyone to know that he finished an amazing back bicep workout. Steven, take note.
You know,
that makes me feel fantastic.
You know what was fascinating?
How good do you guys feel about that?
I feel great.
Nick is elite.
I've been in the gym in 2 weeks.
Nick sent me, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, but you sent me an Instagram to add to your story, and it was a picture of Nick's trip to London. Now, I was in one of the 6 pictures, but it was basically Nick like staring into the eyes of different Bears fans. Nick looking at his beautiful fiance in loving ways, and I was wondering, did he want me to share this to my Insta when I was, one of 6 in one picture, and then it was all like Nick's love affair with London? I was confused.
There's a guy on this set who did a similar thing. I noticed on his Instagram. I took 700 pictures with Greg on Sunday, and I didn't see any of them on his Instagram. He just doesn't love me.
I don't see any in here. Regardless, I don't want to talk about either of you. Yeah, it's called being tagged in a picture. So both of you just shut up about Instagram. You know nothing about it.
Well, how come how come it said add to your story?
I don't know.
Nick,
I don't care.
Nick just said he tagged me. Okay.
Carm doesn't know how Instagram works. Confirmed. Yeah. Anyway, back to the topic of discussion.
I do my own Instagram. I do it brilliantly.
Yes.
To my 2,148 followers.
It's amazing. We're all amazed. So back to the point though about this whole Maxx Crosby idea.
Okay.
Somebody in the chat said they're not there yet. And as I've said before, because I had people saying this before the season started, Ryan Poles does not agree with you. Ryan Poles tried to trade for Matthew Judon, which every Bears fan, for the most part, was saying do not do. So you guys can continue to say, wait till next year, Bears. Your GM does not agree with you. He is continually trying to upgrade this team to win right now. Now, whether that means they're going to win a Super Bowl or not is yet to be determined. But Ryan Poles is not leaving anything off the table, and he's shown that by signing DeAndre Swift, trading for Keenan Allen on essentially a one-year rental, drafting a wide receiver at 9. He has shown time and again with the moves he's made or tried to make, like trading for Matthew Judon, that he wants to win right now. So stop. You can have your own opinion, but look at what the GM is showing you.
Well, I respectfully, in this instance, disagree with you. If he was in all-in mode, if he really felt that Matthew Judon was going to put the Bears over the top, he would have paid the price, but he didn't. He stayed true to his value and did not overpay. If he really thought that a great running back would have put him over the top, he would have gone and got Saquon. But instead, he's trying to still build out the roster. I really just think, and the Keenan part, I just think he wanted to make this as soft a landing spot as possible for the quarterback so he could have some success. I still think he's got long-term more than short-term on his mind.
Yeah, and also I think this Maxx Crosby conversation goes into a completely different conversation because you are now going into the stratosphere of mortgaging your future. There's a huge difference between trading 2 number ones, whatever it takes, a second, that whole Khalil Mack trade all over again, and versus a 3rd-round pick for Matthew Judon. And that's why I
wouldn't even do that.
My answer to this question is nobody. Sit back, just simmer down for a little bit. You have 3 picks right now somewhere that's slot, and we don't know exactly, obviously, until the season's over. But if the Bears are going to flirt with the playoffs, maybe make the playoffs, we're talking about the 1st-round pick being
32. And then 33 for the
point.
Panthers pick.
Yeah, back-to-back. But so to give you a range of 3 picks, though, we're talking somewhere between 20 and 64-ish, right? Somewhere in there, you're talking
all 3 of them.
All 3 picks. You can address a lot of needs with those 3 picks, with high-value guys that have turned into quick starters. Ryan Poles has done a great job in the 2nd round with those types of picks. So to start trading away that draft capital makes me nervous because then you start shortening the back end of the Caleb Williams window. And we saw the trickle-down effect and what that had on the roster over time. And right now, here's another big difference between when the Bears had to make that Khalil Mack trade. Can we talk about the edge rushers they had at that time? Okay? They had Leonard Floyd. They had Isaiah Irving. They had Sam Acho. So it's a little bit different now when you already have Montez Sweat on the roster, right? And on top of that, not only do you have Montez Sweat, but you also have 2 guys. One you've already acquired via trade in Darrell Taylor, and another in Austin Booker, who's showing a lot of really good things. You bring in a Maxx Crosby, those guys don't play.
Right.
Maxx Crosby's on the field every damn play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And so I just think at where the Bears are at now, it'd be great to add one more piece and be like, go get the Super Bowl. But they're still in this phase where I want to see Austin Booker on the field. I want to see if they can continue to get value out of Darrell Taylor. And then reassess at the end of the year and be like, okay, well, you can still get a pretty damn good edge rusher at number 20 or wherever the hell they end up at that spot.
I'm on board with where you're at here. Look, I'm conservative with this stuff. If you, it's very rare where you can say, especially in football too, we are 1 player away. We had that dude, and it puts you over the top. Like, if I spray to other sports, like when the Cubs traded for Aroldis Chapman, I didn't really love that deal either. But I'm like, you're making an argument that dude, a closer that you have to have, puts you over the top, wins you the World Series. Now, we don't have to get into all the details of it, but I could see it there. The Bears right now, I don't think you can make a logical argument they're 1 player away. That's to me, that's insanity. So let's give Poles swings at it in the draft. Don't get guys on good contracts. hopefully, look, if they hit on 2 of the 3 picks next year, you're sitting in a really, really strong position.
Yeah, I'm not. Again, I said this at the start of my statement. I don't think that any of these players we are discussing are going to be available, and nor do I really think the Bears should get any of these guys. What I am saying is, if the Bears traded for Maxx Crosby, it's an obvious significant upgrade. He's the only player that I'd be interested in, with the understanding that it would be mortgaging your future. So I do understand the logistical difference of Matthew Judon versus, a guy like Maxx Crosby. At the same time, the only thing I'm pushing back on with fans is saying that we're a year away. I mean, don't put a cap. The Rams fans putting a cap on this team is nonsense to me. I give this team every opportunity to get as hot as they want and win as many games as they can this year.
From your mouth to the football god's ears on that one. Look, the Rams played at the all-in game and won. Went out and got Matthew Stafford, upgraded around him.
But I think that's also a great example of how much they're playing with fire there.
Exactly.
Look at what they've been ever since.
Right.
Even with that same quarterback who's been playing at a high level. They went all in. They had years and years and years of not having first-round picks. And that was a 3-point game in the fourth quarter.
Right. Got lucky.
But they happened to have Aaron Donald, who was already on the team, and that was really the guy that made the difference, right, when it mattered most. So that's great. You can go that way, but we're also talking. We're also very, very close to talking about the Rams as one of the closest, failures of all time. If it didn't come together,
they don't
perfectly.
have to push all their chips in this year. They don't. In a lot of ways, as long as they have the quarterback right, they're somewhat playing with house money this year. As if they win 9 games or if they win 10 games, but they fall short of the playoffs, like most fans are going to take that, as long as within the context of that is that they got their guy at quarterback and their offense looks good, because now you're going into the offseason with a first-round pick, 2 second-round picks, and a ton of free agency money once again. So I totally understand the bigger picture philosophy, 100%.
Hit the like button for the Bears being patient and playing this out, and we don't need to freak out and try to get there tomorrow. That would be a good reason to hit the like button here. We appreciate everybody who's watching right now. Our list, by the way, that we pulled out, the rumor names out there that Steven put together. Wyatt Teller, who, yes, I did see in the chat, he is on IR right now, but he's coming off. He's expected to play not this week, but the following. Zach Martin from the Cowboys, 34-year-old guard. Maxx Crosby, we've been talking about. Hassan Reddick, who we haven't talked about at all here, but him and the Jets are having a fascination of a season here. I don't get that one either. You're literally giving up millions of dollars to not play football. Your time in the NFL is finite. You've given up $10 million, which is more money than 99.9999999% of people ever make. Just insane to me.
Well, and then the other caveat, when I was on my way up here talking with Shane Marsaw, who we've had on Bears After Dark a few times from Tape Never Lies Network, he said if Hassan Reddick is traded to an NFC team, then that means the Eagles get a guaranteed second-round pick from the Jets with the conditions they put within the move to move Reddick to the Jets. So that's another, layer that you have to consider of why the Jets might not trade Hassan Reddick to an NFC team.
Fair. Myles Garrett's on this list. Trayvon Walker. But I do want to flip it around after we talk about some of our very loving sponsors in a second here, to going the other way. And I know that's not going to be incredibly popular, but what would it look like if the Bears actually tried to build their draft capital for the offseason?
Yeah.
In some level of a creative way. I've got it, the set them free category, and then there's the aggressive side of who you might at least remotely consider dealing to get more draft assets for Ryan Poles come 2025.
It's a fascinating conversation, and I think that I'm not ruling anything out here. I just gave
Ryan
my
Poles
opinion.
Made a trade 2 years in a row at the trade deadline.
Not only that,
you can't rule it out.
Not only that has he been active at the trade deadline. We're already seeing trades get done. The NFL the last 3 years has become more of an entertaining trade deadline league. And on top of that, Poles, as you guys have mentioned, tipped his hand a little bit in the preseason by going after Judon. So that tells you in August, early September, he was willing to make a run at another pass rusher. Now, that was before he added Darrell Taylor. And that's a big key difference because Taylor's been an active and solid player. And that was before, and I've even been surprised by this a little bit. I mean, I think Booker's been exactly what we talked about as a guy who's going to, kind of change of pace, rusher. But he's been pretty damn consistently effective when he's been out there. So I'm surprised. Now the question is, will they go the other way? We'll talk about that in a second. But first, say Prost to bigger and better savings on your next vehicle because am I saying that correctly? You're the guy with the German accent.
Excuse me?
Okay, you weren't even listening.
I mean, I was half listening. But
yeah.
Prost. Prost. No idea.
For Cartoberfest.
Oh, it's Prost.
Okay. Just trying to make a joke. You didn't listen. Anyway, sorry, Ray.
Hi, Pam. I know you're watching at the Ware train station in Ems.
We're talking about Ray right now.
I know,
Pam.
but that's my accent, and that's where I think, and I go to Pam, and I miss her.
Okay. Well, anyway, going on at Ray Chevrolet, Cartoberfest is going on right now. Head in today to shop their huge selection of new Chevy models and new low prices. You could take $3,000 up to $12,000 off MSRP on most Chevy models, or you can cruise through fall your own way. Shop over 125 of their vehicles priced under $20,000. And as one of the top selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, you'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories. Visit our partner this October at their location on Route 12 in Fox Lake or at raychevrolet.com. And if you've heard of Ray Chevrolet, you have also heard of Ray's Price Promise. They're guaranteed to make your next vehicle more affordable than ever with no price changing, no add-ons, no hidden fees ever. That means the incredible prices we're talking about right now, you can expect to see the very same when you shop Ray Chevy in-store or online. Shop Cartoberfest all month long by visiting Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive.
Stay tuned for my enemy at the end of the show. I can't wait to talk about him. That's coming up in about 30 minutes.
Sounds like a good segment.
But first, shout out to our friends at Empire Today. With Empire Today, you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation. I am talking about flooring, and I'm talking about Empire, the best place to get new flooring. Of course, there's a bunch of copycats out there. They're not going to beat Empire on quality, on service, on speed, none of it. Their virtual floor design, it's a great way to see how the new floors is going to look in any space. Very easy. Snap a picture. They'll instantly show you how the new floors will look in your room. And yes, they pride themselves on their convenient shop-at-home service. They help customers shop for floors where they use their floors so they can see exactly what their new floors will look like. They service their own warranty, so if any issues arise, just call Empire. They service all their warranties themselves, which is super sweet. You don't have to track down a manufacturer's phone number. They're going to take care of you. Schedule yourself a free in-home estimate. They're coming to you. All listeners can receive a $350 discount when using the promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/CHGO for details.
All right, so we've talked about options the Bears could potentially acquire, and I think we are all in agreement that it's very unlikely a blockbuster-type trade gets done. But possible because of Poles' track record, and we still have some time to figure that out. I think what we need to start discussing, though, a little bit is it possible that the Bears actually sell off a piece or two? Because there's and we're not talking about anybody major, but it's worth discussing a couple situations. Unexpectedly, one of the areas that has become kind of clogged, both due to a couple guys stepping up and becoming starters, a couple guys who have been injured coming back soon, and another guy who's just sort of there, is the offensive line.
The deepest room Ryan Poles has ever had.
Best offensive line in the league.
He didn't say that. He said deepest O-line room he's ever had.
You are very, very in love with that comment and underlining it that Poles was right and we were wrong. So props to you for being on Team Poles on this one.
Slow down there. Well, let's let Adam finish his thought.
Okay.
Mr. Derailment. Was that
a derail? Did I derail?
Just be quiet.
Is that going on behind the scenes? Would I be called the derail guy?
Just be quiet. Go ahead,
It
Adam.
was a derail.
It was? Keep going.
There's a numbers game going on here. Assuming that Larry Borum comes back anytime soon, Ryan Bates, you would think they traded for him. They want to get him involved. And he gives you depth at both center and guard. Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm not looking at you like that. I'm looking at Ryan Bates like that. I'm imagining that Ryan Bates is that thing. It's just the weirdest thing. Keep going.
Okay.
It was the most.
Now your eyes are derailing.
Now another derail.
Close your eyes and your mouth.
I'm sorry. I got derailed by Ryan Bates. I heard so much. We got to get this guy. We're going to get him as a free agent. We're going to trade for him.
Right.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
Listen,
but go ahead. Keep going.
Close your eyes and your mouth for the rest of this.
The point is, there's a guy who was inactive on Sunday named Nate Davis. And what the hell do you do with him? Because they're clearly done with the guy.
Non-derailment. I completely agree. Trade Nate Davis.
But who's going to make that phone call?
Ryan Poles.
To everyone.
Who I think it's a very simple Chase Claypool trade part 2. Hey, who needs help at the right guard? Okay, there's like 7 of you. Hey, we'll give you Nate Davis. This is what we want. We're going to give you Nate Davis and a 7th round pick. We want your 6th round pick. So we're trading you something for absolutely basically nothing. Who's willing to do it?
Well, because it's more about, as Gary asked in the chat, who's taking on the rest of that contract.
Well, just right. Exactly. Who's got room on their salary cap that's willing to spend it on a guy who, when he plays and is healthy, is more than capable?
Because to Hoge's point, and a lot of people have said this in the chat as well, offensive linemen typically aren't moved at the halfway point. Brian Baldinger said it yesterday with you guys. He said, like, there aren't enough offensive linemen for each team. So that is somewhat of the leverage the Bears do have. If there's a team that's in desperate need, because you would have to be desperate to want to bring on a maligned offensive lineman that was inactive last week. But at the same time, because of the lack of depth across the league on the offensive line, maybe you can create a market for him, but highly unlikely.
So, the Bears would have to also eat the rest of the cap on there if they trade them.
Which is what?
Which is for this year, which you're already eating anyway, and then next year it's total $4 million. So they're going to be on the hook for $2 million for 2025 regardless. But then the money's not guaranteed, which applies to the team trading for him. You're not going to really be on the hook for money in 2025. The contract's not great because you're still on the hook for the rest of the $8.75 that he's due to get paid this year. Whatever's remaining of that, prorate it, right, towards the rest of the season, the amount of weeks left in the season. So that's a lot of chunk of change unless you are desperate for a guard and you feel like that Nate Davis will benefit from a different situation because that clearly hasn't gone well in Chicago. And I do have to say, when he's out there on the field, he's not a liability. He's a solid player. It's just everything else that's come with this that's been the problem. It's been the lack of practicing, the lack of, call it what it is, like motivation to give it everything you need to give it to be a consistent starter in the league. But when he's actually been out there, would you guys agree with that? He's not terrible.
He's not terrible. I mean, the first couple weeks he had some penalties, and then there was a lot of.
Could he be an upgrade for a lot of other teams that are desperate for a guard right now?
Right. Well,
but that's the other part of it too. It's got to be a right guard because he clearly won't go play any other position.
Right. And I saw Eric Bochanted, who's generally, I think Bochanted is on the money a lot. Today, the Raiders have banged up interior line. Played for Getsy. That's not bad, but the problem with the Raiders is they stink. And would they give up anything for this season?
I don't know. I think you could trade Nate Davis for Maxx Crosby straight up.
Well, seriously, would the Raiders do what I just proposed? Nate and a 7th for the 6th. I don't know. I don't even know if they would do it. Like
it's got to be a rental for the rest of this season, a plug and play situation for the most part. that you have the cap space and the cash to be willing to. I'm not going to do the math on this right now, but again, it's like, what are we talking? $5-6 million for the rest of the season?
Yes.
Like, that's a decent amount of money for a guy who's been unreliable. But it's a risky move. But if you're a team that's got you feel like you're in the playoff, have playoff chances, and again, we keep getting back to this. Teams, there's not a good offensive lineman available to be traded.
Right, and I think we would all, if you had to make a bet, will it happen? I think all of us would bet no, it won't.
You can also eat the money. The Bears can also eat the money, basically make them free to the team that's acquiring them.
Which is probably what they have to do.
Hey, is that worth the 6th-round pick? Probably at this point. Or you just keep them in we dubbed it inactive hell on Hogan Johns.
Right. Well,
which is maybe the other move because you might end up needing them at some point.
Yeah, and you've seen that already a few times where they've had to bring him in a pinch. So, I mean, at this point, you've kept him this long. I would have cut him if I were Ryan Poles. I would have cut him in training camp and ate the money then. So now you've gone this far down the road. You might as well keep him and then cut him in the offseason where you can save yourself some cap space that way.
I believe that was over a $12 million cut though at that point.
We don't have to go back over my reasons why, but not only was it, to me, you want to keep, if you decided as an organization going to keep him because of the cap hit or the depth concern of your offensive line, the thing that I had a bigger issue with Nate Davis was starting him week 1. And he didn't earn that, and then it became a poison pill for that offensive line that took 3-4 weeks to figure out who they wanted on there. Now he's inactive, so to me, I think that take has proven out.
Do we want to talk about the other veteran that has been a little bit rumored out there, which kind of seems ridiculous, or would you like to talk? Yeah, you want to talk about him? All right, because we're going to get to the set him free crowd here before we wrap up who the Bears could deal. But the vet that has been mentioned, oddly.
Name him.
Keenan.
No, name the guy that brought this up.
Oh, that would be David Kaplan. I believe he has a YouTube channel. I think he hired Ryan.
I said name him, not plug his competing YouTube channel.
No, I don't know if it's competing. They do whatever they do. Damn.
Jeez.
I'm friends with Cap. I can say whatever.
Why do you have to be so weird? Cap brought up that the Bears were getting calls on Keenan Allen. Wasn't that what he said out loud into a microphone? Do I have that correct?
Yes, I think. Okay. Yes. I mean, I didn't hear him say it, but I heard that's what he said. It made its way around Twitter. It made it to my phone. Gary Rappaport reported it to me that he said this. So,
great.
Well, Rappaport's not the case, buddy. You can grade all you want.
Cap, call that guy, not me.
Yeah. Anyway, the point being is here, like, okay, so
I can call Cap right now to confirm this report.
Go ahead. So Keenan Allen is starting to find his way with the Bears right now.
Let's just make this short and sweet. No. No. You're not trading Keenan Allen. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
I don't think it's the dumbest thing.
You sit next to Mark Carman every day.
I don't think it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Did you watch the game in London? Were you there?
Yeah.
Have you been witnessing how
played well.
1 week DJ Moore has a great game. 1 week Roma Dunze has a great game. 1 week Keenan Allen has stepped up. Consistently, the tight end's been really damn good. The running game's going, DeAndre Swift. The quarterback is developing. What's the upside of messing with that at all right now? Give me one damn good reason.
Okay.
Are you going to get a 2nd-round pick for him?
No, you're not.
But even if you were, I would tell you don't do it.
No,
because the only thing that matters is Caleb Williams.
Okay, so that's
don't screw with that.
So that is where I would push back. Like, and I don't think the reason why obviously my reaction to the Keenan thing, no chance that's happening. No one's giving you a 2nd-round pick for a 30-year-old receiver who was hurt last year and hasn't been on the field a ton this year and is going into a contract year. No chance that's happening, that you're getting a 2nd-round pick or even a 3rd-round pick. And by the way, the Bears gave up a 4th-round pick to get him. You're not getting more now for less time. That's just not happening. But
he could if he was balling out.
Right, and he's not balling out. He
looked pretty good on Sunday.
Okay, but balling out is not what's happening. But my point is, if somebody wants to overpay, if somebody said that dude's balling out, look at the chemistry that he could possibly have for our quarterback right now, and they would give a second round pick for him.
He's also got the foot issue.
I understand. I understand. That's why
it's not happening.
I agree. It's not happening.
It doesn't it doesn't make sense for either side.
I agree. If somebody was to overpay for him, though, if somebody really wanted him, I'd consider it. The quarterback will find somebody else in the back corner of the end zone. The quarterback does not need Keenan Allen to get there. I'm not saying it doesn't make it easier for him. I'm not saying he's not helping him. I'm not saying there isn't value there.
The amount of receivers in the NFL that make the catch, the back shoulder catch up the seam on Sunday
hell of a play
is less than 10.
Hell of a play.
You cannot count those guys on. It's less than 10. And I think Rome Odunze can get to that point. I'm not sure he's there yet. And I'm not sure that DJ Moore even makes that play consistently.
Yeah, I mean, Keenan
Why
Allen,
would you take that away from him?
It's also about the leadership and mentorship that he's helping. I mean, you saw it earlier in the season when Caleb was having a rough game. Hold on, Carm. When Caleb was having a rough game, you saw Keenan really coaching him up.
That was amazing.
Yeah. And so to me, I think Keenan holds a lot of value to this team, even beyond what he does on the field. And, another person that holds a lot of value is our guys over at Roback. You all know by now we wear Roback all the time. It's
I'm
quite
wearing it
simple,
right now.
Mark Carman. Best fit, best feel. The quality of the gear just speaks for itself. Their performance polos perform better in the heat than any other polos. They're moisture wicking so the polo doesn't stick to you and it has such a nice stretch. Their everyday shorts are also perfect. Stretch. They're also perfect for the combo for a day on the move. They look clean, but use the comfort of an elastic waistband. With fall here, what better item to prepare for the season than adding one of their performance hoodies to your closet? They're the softest items we own, and we can't take them off. Even now, here with Chicago.
Greg, I'm going to be a great teammate here because I know your voice is a little strained right now, and because I'm wearing my Roback performance.
He is wearing the Roback.
He's
rocking the Roback.
So good.
So I just wanted to point that out, and I will say this is actually the most comfortable hoodie that I have, and you guys know I wear hoodies basically every day. It's so soft. It looks great. It fits great. And they are designed for comfort and built for activity.
Could even make Carm look great.
Moisture wicking. You know what? I actually have one of these for you, by the way. I forgot to bring it today.
Good.
I have it.
I need some moisture wicking.
Yes, you do.
You sound terrible. You look terrible.
Use the code CHGO20 on Roback.com for a generous 20% off your first order. That's spelled RHOBACK.com. 20% off all polos, hoodies, and shorts with code CHGO20. Make sure to check them out. They will have you ready for whatever travels or activities you have.
Thank you, Roback. What?
Well, you just weren't going to get to that, so I had to step in and do something. Like, you started the show so well with the sunny side thing. Yeah, I did. Because, we were like, and then at the end of the show, you've fallen off.
Okay. All right. I was in an argument with Hoge because I'm very annoyed right now at Hoge and at the chat. Now all of a sudden, Keenan Allen is an untradeable piece. Under no circumstance we can get rid of Keenan Allen. What if someone wants to give you a first-round pick for Keenan? No, can't do that. Come on, man.
Well, isn't it kind of weird, too? In training camp, we were talking about, are we going to extend him after they extended DJ? And DJ said he was already talking to him about it. And now we're talking about the complete opposite of that, about him being traded away. It just seems like too polar of an opposite to me.
Yeah, and neither are correct.
Yeah.
What's been going on this entire time was let's take one of the most reliable quarterback-friendly wide receivers and bring him to Chicago, spend the money for 1 year, let him help Caleb. It's working. Why would you mess with that?
He's already got it. He's good. Now start throwing the ball to Rome, and we got this. You're right. Why would you? You wouldn't unless somebody was going to massively overpay. Then you would. You would consider
but
it.
That's not going to happen.
I agree.
You said that.
I agree.
So why are we still talking about it?
Okay, let's move on. Here's my set them free. Set them free. Set my Bears free. This means we get back a 6th or a 7th round pick for any of these guys. Set them free. Can we set Tyler Scott free?
Sure.
Can we set Khalil Herbert free? Can we set Velus free?
I'd be a little reluctant on Herbert.
Can we set Dom Rob free?
Sure.
Now, here's an interesting one. So you're saying that you would take you'd take a 6th round pick for Tyler Scott?
You know what? I don't know that I would for any of those guys. You have a team that has depth right now. What are you going to get out of all those 6th and 7th round picks? Are any of them going to be better than these guys that you can trust in your system right now in the middle of the season to go out there and play if you need them to?
Who do you think has no chance of ever being successful on the Bears?
Well, to me, the only Tyler Scott you should keep, because if any of the receivers get hurt at any point, your depth isn't as deep at wide receiver. But with Khalil Herbert,
I agree with you.
Khalil Herbert, you do have Travis Homer, right? You already only use 2 running backs.
He's also a kick returner, yeah.
Right. So to me, I think you could sell to another team Khalil Herbert's resume and get decent value.
What's decent value?
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying better value than, Tyler Scott at this point. Because Tyler doesn't have.
You're not getting. I mean, running backs are getting traded for 6th rounders. I think that's about the value that you're going to get for Khalil if you can get it.
Let me bring you up some names here, okay? These are all the players that Ryan Poles has drafted in the 6th or 7th round so far as GM.
Uh-oh.
And I'm not bringing this up as a knock on Ryan. I'm bringing it up as evidence that you don't need to stockpile 6th and 7th round picks because of how the league works. Okay, Zachary Thomas, remember him?
No.
Treston Ebner,
had a minute.
Greatest fullback in the league, Doug Kramer.
I want to see him at center. Keep going. I do.
Ja'Tyre Carter.
Bears legend.
Now, Elijah Hicks would probably be the one guy you go, okay.
There it is.
There it is. He came up.
There it is.
He's not even a starter, though.
He might be.
You can find Elijah Hicks around.
Okay.
Trenton Gill.
I get you're sending these guys.
Let me get through these names. Trenton Gill.
Okay.
Travis Bell, who's actually back on the practice squad, believe it or not, and Kendall Williamson. So you had a draft in 2022 when you did not have a 1st round pick, where you had 3 6th round. Remember how Poles kept trading back in that draft, and he ends up making all those picks: 3 6th rounders and 3 7th rounders. And what you got out of it is a guy that you're using now as your fullback in year 3, like 3 times a game, and Elijah Hicks, who has actually proven to be a good depth piece at safety. It's just you have guys on your roster right now, whether it's Tyler Scott. Velus Jones could end up getting carries at some point this year. Khalil Herbert, in my opinion, gets bumped up to RB1 if DeAndre Swift was inactive in any game. I think he ends up getting the bulk of the carries as your first running back over Roschon Johnson, actually, because there's different roles within that running back room.
Right.
And who was the other guy you brought up there? Dom Rob, who, okay, fine, but I know that, believe it or not, based on how it's worked with the inactives, I think it has more to do with health than anything. I was told that they were really happy with how Dom Rob showed up bigger and performed in training camp. So I don't think they're in a hurry to get rid of him either.
Clearly they're not. That's why I'm calling it the set him free. You think Khalil Herbert wouldn't want to be on a roster where he's getting the football right now?
No, but just pair and a spare. That's what Flu says. Pair and a spare. You're trying to trade all the spares right now.
I'm not trying to do anything. I'm
well, you're trying to set them free. I get it.
Yeah. I'm saying and to give yourself a lottery pick. Shot at it. Lottery ticket, excuse me. And maybe they won't. Maybe they'll keep everybody. Here, let me throw one more out there. And I hate to do this because this is my guy, and he'll forever be my guy wherever he's playing quarterback. But if somebody was looking, if the Raiders right now, who are doing whatever the hell they're doing at quarterback, were like, and Luke Getsy was like, I'm telling you, this guy is a starter in the league. And they called up the Bears like, hey, we'll give you a 3rd-round pick for Tyson Bagent. Are you doing that if you're the Bears? Are at what point? Let's go as high as a 2nd-round pick. I'm not saying that's happening, but at what point? What do you? Would you consider? Okay,
no.
Because no. Okay, you sure?
If I told you Caleb Williams was going to miss a month right now, would you say they're out of the playoff picture?
He'd be fitting Tyson for his gold jacket if Tyson got a month with this team.
Maybe so, but
But if Tyson Bagent wasn't here and I told you Caleb Williams was going to miss a month.
Yeah, I'm not trading Tyson Bagent.
Yeah, I would not. I wouldn't do it.
Okay.
We finally got a quarterback room.
I don't think they're trading Tyson Bagent.
It took us so long to get to this point.
No, you're laughing at D?
Yeah, I'm laughing at all the comments today.
Yeah, okay.
I've never been more united with our chat than this entire show.
Okay.
I love it.
So let me ask you this. Do you I love that I love everyone.
You just want a free Bagent now.
At some point,
free him to Miami.
How's this? Would you care to how long is Bagent under contract for?
1 more year.
Was it 1 more year?
Yes.
Okay.
He was an undrafted free agent.
Okay, so what are you gonna do? You're gonna pay him real backup money after next year?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not it's a lot more than he's making right now, and
you don't have to make that decision for a while. Like Sandberg right now is in year 3 as an undrafted free agent. Still here.
There's another guy. Didn't even touch on the Sand God. Listen, I don't expect them to trade Bagent. I don't think they're going to trade Bagent, but at some point, I'll bet you that Tyson Bagent plays football for a team other than the Chicago Bears. And
I would say that's a very safe bet considering.
Thank you. So
Carm, they drafted Caleb Williams. That's not a controversial.
Well,
take.
Maximize your asset. At what point can you get the most value for him? At some point, you're going to bring in a veteran quarterback to back up Caleb, and you want to make a Jimmy Garoppolo type of trade with Tyson. That's where this is headed, right? I'm not saying it's going to be right now, but let's say that Tyson plays whatever. Let's say stay silent. This is fine.
I am.
I'm trying to do the timeline math. Caleb gets dinged up in the Washington game. Tyson comes in, balls out in the second half. Caleb's fine, but it's before the deadline, and somebody's willing to overpay.
Well, why wouldn't you wait till the offseason is my question.
Because you might not get the same value. You think that someone's overpaying in the moment for him.
But I don't know that situation exists right now.
It probably doesn't, Adam.
And I would rather know that if anything happens.
You love Bagent as much as I do. Just admit it. You're a Bagent guy.
Bagent is a very, very, very good backup quarterback. The Bears are lucky to have him right now. Stop trying to trade all the depth they have.
Right. And so then for you and everybody in the chat who's coming at me, you can all thank me for my genius on Bagent because you ultimately followed me down Bagent Road to my brilliance. So you're welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There you go.
Everybody loves draft picks. I like players who I know are already good. All right.
What would the chat's been asked this a lot, so I just think it's probably the most worthy of any of the conversation we've had today. What would we trade Carm for?
Yeah.
Like what are like if we just stick it strictly to like the Taco Bell menu, what would you trade Carm for off the Taco Bell menu? Or if you have another idea, I would probably go with Taco Bell just because that's my go-to. Like 2 cheesy gordita crunches.
Does it have to be food?
If you're sending me to fast food.
That's just where I went because that's where
sending me to fast food. Don't send me to Taco Bell.
This is about what I want. I'm trading you for 2 cheesy gordita crunches.
Just get at least.
Like Hoge, what would you trade Carm for?
Does it have to be fast food?
What is his value to you?
I like a good sub.
I'd go. I'd consider a gig at what's that?
JP.
Yeah, Graziano's.
Yeah.
I'd
trade you to JP Graziano's.
If I go
for a month for a month worth of you making me subs.
Yeah, I'd go sidewalk show for my guys out there.
Carm for a Baja Blast. Who says no? I think that's.
All right. It's been a
We got to do supers. Super chats.
Okay, $5. Bradley
Hassey,
my guy.
Very good.
Just $5.
Got it.
Just wants to throw it in there. The Hassey. That's my guy.
victory. We appreciate it, Brad. All right.
Football CF candy. $4.99. Should we look at Eberflus with the same convo as Fields? I love that Football CF Candy's always doing her own show. This is amazing. Coaching cycle this year.
Do you know it's her?
I don't.
I was like, where did that?
I just
know that
candies. It's like a candy. I don't know. It doesn't matter. CF Candy's amazing. Period.
Love candy.
Coaching cycle this year greater than last year. Ho, can you figure this out?
All defensive head coach. Should you upgrade from Flus the same way you upgraded from Fields? Let me translate that to make it more sense. If Bill Belichick wants to coach Caleb Williams in 3 months, do you do it?
No.
Okay.
We're all in on the Flus.
Wow.
No, the Flus is.
Should have led the show with that take with Carm.
We can do. That's tomorrow's show. It'll be great. Everybody will say that they don't like Bill Belichick.
$5 from I'm gonna go turtle.
That looks like a turtle.
Braggs is the personification of my heart, Carm of my gut, Hoge of my logic. Love you guys. Keep up the best Bears podcast out there.
Appreciate you.
Bear down.
What we learned today is that in no circumstance would we ever trade Keenan Allen, Tyson Bagent, Velus Jones, Khalil Herbert.
That wasn't said.
Tyler Scott.
That wasn't said.
We would not trade any of these vital parts for anything
and
ever.
Unanimously, we would all trade you.
And that I would be traded for the gum on the bottom of someone's shoe.
Yeah.
That's what we learned today.
And the reality is nobody else is doing that podcast that we just did.
Nobody.
So.
Well, and that's what I mean. Like, I think overall, I think we all understood this is an exercise in conversation. Nobody's making any grandiose statements about any of it. We all understand that they should not trade for anyone realistically, and they shouldn't trade anyone as well. So Carm always has to be the bad guy and try to, expand our minds to other thoughts. So I'll give you the credit because somebody's got to do it, or else we're not doing an hour show discussing all this, and we could have just ended it 3 minutes in. So for everybody talking crap to my guy Carm, let him, kind of get you guys to expand your mind and have a little conversation. Calm down.
No, it's fine. And I love every one of them because I know they all love me. Deep down somewhere in their souls, they have a place for me.
Yes.
And they will tell their loved ones about me, as I will them.
I tell my loved ones about you all the time.
Can I end the show on the fun things that I put on my notes here? Hoge, I know everybody's busy, but Overtus got off the plane from London. I ran away from Braggs and Jenny. I actually felt bad about that, but I didn't think I thought that probably made.
I know. I was looking up because you were like 7 rows ahead of me, and I was like, "Is he gone?" She was like, "Yeah, he's gone." I was like, "You didn't say anything."
Well, I looked back at you.
It was
guys.
fine.
I looked back at you, and you were both still sitting in your seats, and I had stood up, and I kept on looking back, and then at that point, I was like, "I'm not waiting."
You guys missed the fun flight, by the way.
Well, I was just pissed because you were gone, and I was gonna make, like me as I always do, I was gonna make a scene. So like when you got up, I was gonna start yelling, "Hurry up!" and stuff.
Yeah, no,
like everybody else on the plane didn't know we knew each other.
Well, and then I kind of perhaps rudely just walked faster past everybody towards customs because there's a huge line at customs. So I passed up some people that were not in as prime shape as I was. And then I somehow just meandered my way and I was gone before you guys, I think, even sniffed customs.
It's even you and my permission to end the show whenever you want.
No, but you not. When I got on the blue line and our guy Overtus was there, shout out Overtus, dude was making sure that people's ride into the city was as clean as possible. Mm-hmm. And then he just, you're
a good man, Overtus. This is the third time I'm hearing about you.
We met eyes. It was a nice moment. Also, happy birthday to Mongo, 67 years old today.
Hall of Famer, baby.
The Hall of Famer, one of the greatest personalities, one of the greatest players in the history of this damn city. Love you, Mongo. And
you're goddamn right, Matty Legend. He says in the chat, nobody can call Carm stupid but me, and he was quoting me. You're damn right. And I'll call this idiot dumb every day. You call him dumb, and I'll run your ass over.
Also, to the crazy guys saying that we were talking smack about David Kaplan, we are all really good friends with him, and we were having fun with him. So settle down. You could send this to him, and he'll think it's funny.
This show is about fun.
Yes. And that is something Cap understands, too.
All right. And to my guy last night, AW, as I'm not going to make excuses, 8 days in London, hadn't picked up a racket, suffering from jet lag, stomach was out of whack, hadn't eaten anything.
9 excuses in 5 seconds.
Yeah, seriously. He's setting it up because he clearly lost to some old guy with loose skin and old balls.
Okay, this dude was like 28 and there's an etiquette in the great sport of tennis where, like, when you're warming up, you warm the other person up. This guy comes out there, he's blasting balls at me, and then in the middle of
the old ones?
The no context CHGO Bears account on Twitter. Please have that up immediately.
And then proceeded to act like a bozo the entire damn match and smoked me. Just know.
So it was the warm-up?
There is an etiquette to life, Hoge. We can be better. I want a civil society based on love and empathy and compassion and understanding of the trade deadline. And AW did none of that last night. And he woke me up at 3:15 in the morning still thinking about it. So I look forward to the rematch whenever I have it. Now we can end the show.
Carm for 2 beefy 5-layer burritos.
That's delicious. That's a good move by Calware.
Good news for everybody that these are the guys that are going to be doing the show tomorrow with Nick.
No, it's Nick and Carm.
Me and Nick.
Yeah,
I'll be producing.
Yeah, but you're going to talk.
No, I'm not.
No,
Yes,
we're
you
not.
are. We know you are. It's okay.
I should have not done this show.
Me too. I actually thought it was pretty good.
I loved this show. I do the show. I mean, come on.
All right.
It was a good exercise.
Friday show coming your way tomorrow, going into the bye week. We'll be back Monday, then after the weekend.
Back to the regular schedule.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have a breaking news show this weekend after Ryan Poles makes a trade.
It ain't going to be.
He's going to trade for somebody. He's going to make some kind of move that makes everything we just said on this show look stupid.
It better not be Dom Rob.
Sounded like Eeyore when you said that. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.